Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Onvisor podcast. My guest this week is none other than Natalie Davison. Natalie is a realtor here with EXP in the Greater Moncton area. She is currently building out a team around her at EXP. She's also a marketing and branding whiz. She has a long, deep experience with marketing and branding. She's helped other brands succeed, launch, and everything in between. She's also an exceptional speaker. She has a lot to say, and she has such a bright energy that you can't help but be captivated whenever Natalie is speaking. So me and Natalie have a very candid, very enlightening, and very honest conversation. So I hope you guys will enjoy it as much as I enjoyed having it. So here's my episode with Natalie Davison. Natalie, how are you doing today?
I'm awesome, Marcel. I'm awesome. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. I'm really stoked to have you in here. Every time we chat, things seem to, it gets me fired up, and I think there's an energy there, so I'm really looking forward to diving into it. How's your week been?
Honestly, it's so funny. I always say awesome when people say, how are you? So it's just like my base answer. Even if I'm not awesome, I'm going to say it because I just believe in giving positive energy.
Yeah.
However, this week has been, I'm going to just get into it. This week's been really interesting because it has been, I'm in a season of rapid growth and expansion.
Nice.
And when you get everything you ever wanted and then you're just like, do we swear on this podcast?
Yeah.
So when you get everything you ever wanted and then you're just like, holy shit, what do I do with this?
Yeah.
So it's and by everything I ever wanted, I don't mean the results of figuring out a problem. I mean, you want more clients, you want more partners, you want more whatever. Well, it seems like they've all just 10x lately.
Wow.
And I don't have the systems and processes yet to run a business at that size.
Yeah.
So I'm just right into it right away. No casual talk, right?
Yeah.
But that's what this week has been. It's been a lot of first just kind of survival mode and then epiphany yesterday where I'm like, whoa, everything's 10x right now.
Yeah.
And I didn't 10x yet.
Right.
So I'm in a season of okay, better 10x myself real fast here. So I don't screw up everything I wanted, right?
Or learn how to drink from a fire hose.
Yeah.
One or the other.
Yeah.
But I think systems are the way to go.
Yeah. So I am also awesome, but I am awesome in a state of I said this on a coaching call a couple weeks ago, and it's so weird that it was the exact thing I needed to hear, but when a lobster grows, they outgrow their claws, right?
Yeah.
And then they have to shed their shell, and they have to shed their shell, and then you've got this naked lobster walking around on the ocean floor, super vulnerable to predators and whatever. And so my team and I started saying oh, my shell's off when you're in this state.
Oh yeah, okay.
And I'm full on shell's off right now. So outgrew the shell, need to grow a new shell.
Yeah.
And try and do that as quickly as possible. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's awesome to hear because it's. I like it because there's a little bit of fear in there.
Yeah.
There's excitement in there.
Yeah.
But it's all stuff that you attracted.
100%. Yeah.
So it's nice. It's validating when it happens, right?
For sure. But also I think it's just so important to be real about it, right? Because it looks from the outside when other people 10x something, you only see kind of after they figure it out, right?
Yeah.
So you don't really we don't talk about the process of it. It's oh my gosh, look what they just did, look what they accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
But very often when they're in it, in the middle this, when their shell's off, the last thing they want to do is talk about it.
Yeah.
Because you don't have it figured out, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why I jumped into it right away, because I was you know what, my shell's off right now, and I think we're not talking about that enough.
And I think a lot of people don't necessarily have the platform to talk about it.
Yeah.
Me and you now both have a podcast. We talk a lot. We have a network.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we see what people choose to let us see.
Yes.
Most people.
Yeah.
And that's why when you said, we only see it after the new shell's on, that's usually what you see.
Yeah.
And I think that's misleading in the way that people just think you grow shells like that fast.
Yeah, or it never comes off at all.
Or never comes off at all,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's not true at all, is it?
No, I mean, if anything, it's just a constant growing of a new shell, outgrowing the shell, not having a shell on, growing a new shell. Like, it's like, that's growth, right?
Yeah.
And at any point, Marcel, I know that I've built a life now where I have the option to just be like, you know what, this shell is the right size.
Yeah.
I'm good. Like, I could just stay in my shell and like kind of coast and be just fine, you know, and never have to worry about the ocean predators coming to get me. But that's not the life.
I was gonna say that's not your
what
style,
I'm
is
doing.
it?
Yeah,
No.
I have a big dream. So you know, if you have a big dream, then shells are gonna just constantly be coming off.
Have you ever come to the moment where you're struggling to come to terms with your dreams actually coming true? Like realizing you're kind of actually living your dreams in a way?
Good question. What do you mean by struggling? Like,
I mean, where it's you I don't know, maybe you're having a hard time believing it, or you haven't realized that, oh shit, like, I guess I am living and doing what I've set out to do. Similar, in the same line as what you opened with.
Yeah,
kind of.
100%. Like, when you're somebody who's a bit of an overfunctioner,
Okay.
you know, and you operate at a pace that is not typical of most people.
Yep.
It is very hard to slow down, and you have to be intentional. You have to force yourself to slow down and look at what you've done. Absolutely.
Agreed.
Like, that is not a natural process for me. So even like, you know, with my coaching group and the folks that I work with, every Friday I have a ritual where we celebrate wins. We have like,
nice.
we have a Facebook group, and we come in every Friday. My assistant posts every Friday morning. It's like, all right, drop your wins, guys, you know, and every time we start our call for our team meeting on Monday morning, I'm like, guys, drop a win. And I don't care if you had the worst week, there's a win. There's always a win. And so it's actually a practice.
Yeah.
And it's an intentionality that I have to schedule.
Yeah.
Or I won't see it.
Yeah.
All I'll see is that there's a big goal out there, and how far am I from achieving it? Like, all I'll see is what hasn't happened.
Yeah, totally.
You know?
Yeah, what you still want, or
Yeah,
what
yeah.
hasn't happened yet, or whatever.
100%. And we're wired that way. Like, you know what I mean?
I am
but
as well.
it's not good for us. What's good for us is seeing what we've done.
Yeah.
That's fuel.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah.
agree. Okay, we're gonna pull it back a little bit. So, went out with a bang. Started with a bang.
Yeah.
So love it.
Might want to like put that in the middle. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you
I
how
don't
to edit your podcast.
I don't edit this thing, so
Okay, me
it
neither.
happens how it happens. But I did want to kind of go back and kind of go from the beginning here. So tell us a little bit about how you've become the person you are now, and kind of your journey to, you know, the success and living your best life at this moment. So
Cool.
Kind of walk us through
I'm
that
going to tell you a
little
story I
bit.
never told anybody. How about
Yeah.
that? I'm going
Go.
to tell you a story I've never told anybody, not even on my own podcast. So, okay, I was like growing up in the 80s and then the 90s. I was like pretty good marks, athlete, didn't get in a lot of trouble. So everybody's like, okay, like straight and narrow path to university in these two fields, right? You're gonna be a doctor or a lawyer, and that's what people like. Those are the things you're supposed to do. And I was like, yeah, like those are the things I'm gonna do.
Yep.
Like I remember one time having a conversation with an adult mentor and being like, you know, like I might like to be a gym teacher, and they were just like, you can't be a gym teacher. Look at your marks. You're not gonna be a gym teacher.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was like the attitude in the
As
culture.
in they were higher?
Yeah.
Then? Okay.
Like as if that was beneath me,
Yeah.
right? Which is like absolute insanity, you know?
Yeah.
And
Crazy.
now I'm literally telling my kids, like, man, be a gym teacher.
Yeah.
Like if you're not gonna be an entrepreneur, be a gym teacher. It's pretty much the best gig ever. And
Yeah.
like you can have a business in the summer. Anyway, so that was kind of the culture growing up, and so I really, really wanted to stay on the straight and narrow and do something very serious and solemn with my, you know, my talents that I thought I had, right, which included getting good marks. And so that was kind of my focus in my life. And then we lived in Toronto, and I got my real estate license very young as a side hustle. I never ever thought I would do full-time entrepreneurship.
Okay.
Because the culture in which I was raised really looked down on entrepreneurship and the risk. Like it just wasn't a thing that
It
was
wasn't a
cool at
solid
the
path.
time. Yeah. So, but I loved it. And I now can look back and see that I was just like born to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And I was trying to find ways to have a side hustle at least and fill up my bucket, because doing a 9 to 5, I was like bored.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had my real estate license, and I did that for like 7 years as a side hustle in Toronto. And when we moved back to Moncton, my kids were 2. It was 2010, 2011. I was like 30, 31. And I started working for Pierre Martel at Martel Homes. Mm-hmm. And I was not a licensed realtor. I didn't transfer my license, and I did his sales and marketing.
Yep.
But Marcel, this is the story. The idea of working for an entrepreneur to me was so risky. I was sick over the thought. Like, he offered me the job, and I was like, I don't think I can put all my eggs in the basket. What if he's crazy?
Yeah.
And so I was like, how do I trust entrepreneurship so much to go work for an entrepreneur, not to become an entrepreneur full time, to even work for an entrepreneur full time.
Right. Even that was a jump.
That was my mindset, right? Yeah. So he was doing a talk in St. John on, like, I think it was with Gary Maxwell. It was like at a car dealership. It was a marketing talk talking about the brand, and it was going to be at like 8:30 a.m. on a weekday. And I had been offered the job, but I was like, I really am scared to go work for this entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
And I knew his brother Dan a bit from high school. And again, just like, this felt like the riskiest thing I could have ever thought of. Can you even imagine looking back now?
Yeah.
And so my husband got up that morning at like 5 and drove to St. John to sit in the audience, planted, because he didn't know him.
Right.
And see, like, is this guy legit?
Okay, yeah.
I was so scared. I was like, go mystery shop.
Yeah.
Go figure out if, like, this is the craziest thing I'm ever going to do, is be employed by an entrepreneur, Marcel. So that's where I was at, right?
Yeah.
Now, fast forward, like, I worked there for quite some time, and then went out on my own, and I, had a marketing business, and then came back to real estate. And so I've got this, like, long-term marketing, long-term real estate that are kind of married now. And, it all makes sense. But on the path, like, when people tell me they're scared to leave their day job to go full time at real estate, I talk to a lot of realtors who are like, they have a job and they do real estate on the side.
Yep.
A lot.
Yep.
And all they want to do is be a full time realtor someday.
Of course. We're going to talk about that.
Okay. And so when we have that conversation, I have so much empathy, because, man, that was me, that, like, times 10. Like, that was me, and I didn't want to work for an entrepreneur.
Right.
So
wild.
That's the gap.
That's wild.
That's the gap we have filled.
Wow. So I'm curious, at what point did you find your light? You shine so bright, okay?
Thank you.
And I'm wondering if that's something that has been consciously put into place since that, or did you always have kind of something within you've wanted to shine or share or whatever?
So I think if you asked adults who knew me as a kid, they would have said, like, oh yeah, that's always been there.
Okay.
But then I think, like most people, as I started to seek affiliation socially and belonging, that light definitely would have dimmed out, right?
Okay.
Like, I can remember in high school, I had a teacher, my English teacher really wanted me to write for school paper. She's like, you've got this talent, and I want whatever. And I was like, oh my God, like, that would be the most humiliating thing I can think of. So I finally agreed to do it under a fake name.
No way.
I didn't want anybody to know.
Alias.
An alias. Like,
Wow.
I didn't want anybody to know, because the crowd of people I was trying to fit in with would have, like, thought that was such a loser thing to do, right? And so, like, there are moments like that. Like, I was telling a story. I was on stage at Fuck Up Nights the other week.
Yeah.
And I ended up telling a story I didn't intend to tell. But, like, when I was in my 4th year at Mount Allison, I was trying to figure out what am I going to do with my life. And I was trying to stay on this. I didn't want to go to law school anymore.
But that was the plan.
That was the plan.
Okay.
But I was like, oh man, I don't think I have law school in me. Right. And so but I needed something as practical as. And so I was interviewing with accounting firms.
Yeah.
Natalie Davison,
yeah,
like, could not be less right for that.
Yeah.
But I was ready to do that, right? And so I think what happens along the way is you seek affiliation, and you stop speaking for yourself, and you start speaking for whoever it is that you're trying to have affiliation to.
Yeah.
And so I told you I went to Martel and, like, but after 4 years, this job that I absolutely loved, thought was the best work I would ever do. Really thought it was the best I was ever going to do.
Okay.
Thought that was it. I had peaked.
Mm-hmm.
And then my job was eliminated.
Right.
And then it wasn't like, oh, yeah, you lost your job. Like, I lost my job. I lost my best friends that felt like family.
Right.
I lost my customer. Like, I lost my identity.
Right.
And
Big hit.
I didn't work for a year.
Wow.
I was so unprepared.
Okay.
Unprepared and like ill-equipped to manage that. Like, I was not okay. So I didn't work for a year. We call it, I joke, I call it Nat leave.
Yeah, we've talked about Nat leave before.
Leave.
Yeah.
You know, and then during that year, I was able to be present with my kids and I did a couple courses about human behavior and start really kind of like just tapping into my creativity for no purpose. Like, doing some like renos and art and things like that, and just rolling up my sleeves and getting to know myself a little bit better. Yeah. And I would say that's where like a tiny little spark was lit. Right. And then I slowly surrounded myself by people who thought that they saw that, I guess. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I started to attract some people into my life that only saw that little spark. Yeah. Right. And then that's an amplifier. So when they see that about you, but not like, oh, geez, I heard you got good marks in high school. Like, that's the most exciting thing about you, right? So when they don't see that and they're like, well, you have this like light, you have this creativity, you make me feel good when I'm around you. Yeah. I like your energy. When you're getting feedback like that, when you're like your most authentic and honest version of you, when you have like nobody's looking at your grades, then that's when that stuff kind of starts to grow. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and that amplifies the light. It amplifies. Yeah, it's like oxygen. It's crazy that you mention, you know, your story and how you felt about it really in high school with the good marks and that path. I've had a very similar experience where kind of was funneled into university following high school because I had the grades. I was able to, but always had that, I don't want to call it, it was kind of that spark or something behind me. And for me, it started when I worked at a retail shop, like at Border Tech, at this skate and snowboard shop, like expressing my passion and joining a team and winning contests and entrepreneurial environment. Yeah, very creative. We raised the bar on many things. And that's when I kind of decided, I want this for myself too. Yeah. And, many years later, we, end up at these startup weekends, and that's where we met. And, the rest is history. It's crazy how also I dealt with a lot of imposter syndrome for a long time. I remember one time I was told to go, we were doing an event, an entrepreneur event. And the person who invited me told me, like, don't tell them you're a financial advisor. Like, you're a CrossFit gym owner. And I was like, I had such imposter syndrome. And that really triggered me. I was like, shit. But it also fueled my extreme desire to build Onvisor as something different and unbundle that myth that, you can't be a professional and an entrepreneur at the same time. But, like, also, the fact that you just shared that story is so important because I have a story that just unlocked in me, and you just, like, healed me a little bit, I swear. And I think, like, if anybody's like, why would Onvisor do a podcast? Like, this is it, right? When we tell our stories, like, people can solve problems. And, like, so thank you for sharing that. And it's so crazy you say that because, I got my real estate license back in 2021, right? So I sold houses Toronto for 7 years, then unlicensed in New Brunswick from 2010 to 2015, no license, but I sold new construction houses. That's what I did, and did marketing. And then I ran my agency until 2020, and it was the pandemic. And when we were going into the pandemic, so the end of 2019, I sat down with my business planning, and almost all of my big growth goals in 2020 revolved around speaking and traveling and speaking. Yeah. Getting on planes and going to conferences. Amazing. And I had stuff locked in and lined up. Like, and that is what I wanted to spend my time doing.
Yeah.
Right. That's how I want, like that's my big dream. Still my big dream.
Yeah.
Like still my big dream.
Like,
and it's taken me years to be able to say that out loud to people, other people, but like that is my big dream. And so I was heading from 2019 into 2020 like, oh my God, big dream is happening. I'm on planes, I'm getting paid, I'm going to talk, like this is happening. And I was in a mastermind with amazing speakers, like 300 of the best in the world, honest to God, like people that I really on paper have no business being in a group with, but I was.
Yeah.
And so I'm in this group and it's March and events start canceling. And you can imagine like all of these people's businesses, and these are 7-figure businesses, right?
Yeah.
Just like boom, ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, mine's just getting going, right?
Yeah, I'm starting.
And I'm just starting and you know, and I'm watching everything going on, and I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm thinking about like, how am I going to feed my family and like whatever. And like, cause I don't have multiple years of this great speaking revenue or whatever. Like my business was a startup and it was only a few years old. Right.
Yep.
And so I'm sitting there and I'm looking at everything and I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what the world, like nobody knew what they were going to do. And everything's like, da-da, da-da, da-da. And I thought, man, I could always go back to like, I could always sell houses. Like if I ever have a problem, I can always sell houses. I know that. I'm good at that. And I've got that in the back of my mind, right? Just because I'm just like, you know, like Trudeau's on the TV, like saying that we're going to like give people money. Like it's just the early stages. And this guy comes in the group, and the craziest part, Marcel, is I can't even remember his name. And he comes in the group and he posts, oh my God, this is crazy. All of our businesses are just like drying up overnight. And he's like, let's all pray that in a year we are not realtors.
Oh, damn. Wow.
And I would love to tell you that this man whose name I can't even remember, I don't care about, but the way that got in my head was insane. It has taken me years. I don't know that I would have told you this story 6 months ago. It has taken me years to get over, right? Since 2021, like 4 years. And I don't even know who he is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't even know who he is. And P.S. got on a plane to Arizona to talk about real estate a few months ago. Like it's all happening. Like it's nothing about what he said mattered. But man, it mattered to me in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can see how that would be triggering as, you know, right? If your quote unquote backup plan was to go to real estate, and you probably were already thinking of it a little bit because you're nervous about your new gig. But then to have it kind of flagged as second tier or third tier or whatever you want to call it, that'll shake you.
Yeah. Today,
and make you question. Most importantly, make you question.
Exactly. And I think like the other thing that really is at play, and you got to kind of recognize if you're ever in that situation in the future, is like, I can look back now and say like there was a dynamic at play that really messed that up. It's not really the words. Like if he said that to me today, I wouldn't care. It wouldn't even like go in my brain, right? But at that moment, what I wanted more in the world was something he had already most in the world is something he had already accomplished, right?
Yeah, right.
And it looked like it was like I just wanted so bad, and then it looked like, Jesus, this is out of reach. So here's the person who's done the thing that I most want to do. Yeah. And I'm trying to come up with a survival plan. Yeah. And he's like out of context, no clue, making fun of my survival plan. Yeah. And it just like the shame that I felt that was completely unwarranted. It really all came down to my own confidence in me. Yeah. Right.
And it also separated the two. Like you're saying that right now the two are kind of beautifully married.
They have married.
Right?
Yes.
And that's your brand. It's a big part of your brand.
Yeah.
But at that point, he was throwing a grenade in what was the fabric that would hold those two together.
Yeah. And you know, like, I think Marcel, the kind of person that I am is like, I always have a vision. And sometimes I don't even recognize that I've had it yet. Yeah. Like sometimes things will happen in my life. I'm like, oh my God, I thought of this 7 years ago. This is crazy. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know if you've ever had that experience.
Absolutely.
I was standing at Known the live event last year, and I looked at the speaker lineup and all the people and the decor and everything. And I was like, I imagined this in the pandemic, at the beginning of the pandemic, this event. Like, this is crazy. It's 4 years later, and it's all the speakers that I would have had. Like, they're all there. At no point did I go back and say, what did I think of in the pandemic? Let me recreate it. Yeah. I had the thought on a walk one day.
Yeah.
I forgot about it.
Yeah.
And then I created it, right?
Unreal.
So knowing that, I think that's what we actually do is we plant these seeds of energy out in the world, and then they come back. And so,
Absolutely.
you know, now I know that me getting my real estate license back, I can see the grand scheme of things right now. I've got, 19 realtors that work under me.
Yeah.
I can see how all of my businesses had to come together to make me as good at what I do as I am right now.
Yeah.
All of those things had to happen. But in that moment, I didn't know the vision I had.
Yeah.
But for sure, I had the vision. There's no way I'm giving up everything else I had going to get my real estate license back if there wasn't a greater vision there.
Yeah.
I just
saw
wasn't
something.
conscious of it.
Yeah. And it's funny to hear you say that about visions. And I talk about this at length in therapy and et cetera, about the, being forward thinking. So visions. I remember when I first started Onvisor, when you helped me work on that before, that was advice delivered digitally through what is now a Zoom call, but that was before Google Meet, before Zoom, and I knew people were going to be getting virtual meetings and not having to drive to an office to get advice
100%.
But it was early and it took a pandemic for people to buy into it.
Yeah.
I knew that electronic signatures would be the thing. So not that I had a vision, but I knew that that's where my business wanted to be.
Yes.
And now everything's kind of caught up.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to always be thinking ahead, I guess.
That makes you a culture maker. You become a culture maker.
Right.
Because culture wasn't there yet.
Yeah. No.
But you did what was coming.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And sometimes culture only changes when there is an event. Like a big event that changes everything.
Yeah.
And then culture responds.
Mm-hmm.
But what's amazing is if you can be the kind of person who can see that, read it, get there, and then just wait for them.
Yeah.
And
stick it out.
That's the magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I wanted to come back to making the jump to self-employed. So in your line of work, there's people joining your team, and there's probably people on the fringe that you are in contact with, and you probably see a lot of people make the jump. We talked about you making the jump, but you also see other people making the jump. What are some of the things that kind of make or break someone's success, short-term, long-term, making that jump?
From employee to full-time?
Yeah, from side gig to this is my full-time gig.
I don't think you even know this, but like this is a problem I'm really working on right now, is how to accelerate that. Because I have a team at EXP of realtors, and I don't want to call it my team actually. I have an organization, so I have 19 realtors that work under me at EXP, that I sponsor or somebody who works with me sponsored. And they directly, I get revenue share from their work. And I offer them coaching and programming in return to grow their careers. And I've created a system in our organization that allows folks who have a day job to miss nothing. Any trainings, coachings, whatever, everything's recorded. It's uploaded into school platform, which I know that sounds basic to you and me, but in our world, it's actually very hard to find a brokerage that has all your trainings recorded. I hear all the time from realtors who are part-timers, and they're like, well, I can't get any of the resources in my brokerage because they only do them during business hours.
Yeah, it's
right.
limited.
So that's how this all kind of started.
Mm-hmm.
And we offer a really affordable financially great environment for realtors. So it's a financially solid environment for somebody who isn't necessarily a great huge producer yet. And it's just to me, it's setting yourself up on that path to go from a part-time realtor to full-time. So we kind of do all these things. And then I have a girl that works for me, and I said, listen, I really want to I want to learn how to fast track this. She has a day job. So I was like, I'm actually going to one-on-one coach you for 3 months. I'm doing this as a research project. You just have to do everything I tell you. And I want to take this and break it into a process and see how fast we can do this. So that I can teach people how to go from side hustle to full-time as fast as possible. Totally. I want to be the person that does that with people. And I found a couple of things. So one of the things that people do is they say, I will quit my day job when I hit a certain financial threshold. Like here's my number. Yeah. Or like, okay, when I sell 60 grand, I'll quit my job. Or when I'm at 100 grand a year in revenue, I'll quit my job. Right.
Yeah.
Well, that is absolutely a recipe for failure. So instead, we need you to pick a date. If you pick a date, you'll hit the revenue.
Right.
But if you just pick the revenue,
and have no
when are you going to hit
pressure?
it?
There's no pressure.
When are you going to hit it? 2 years, 3 years, like whatever. So it's not a dollar figure. It's a date. Like that is essential, right?
Yeah.
And that's like probably one of the most important things.
Yeah.
Then the second thing that I have uncovered is anybody, and now I can see myself in this, anybody who has a side hustle and then is doing real estate on the side and does not have a date has a major mindset problem.
Okay.
And almost all / opportunity and almost all of the stuff holding you back from quitting your day job is mindset related.
Yeah.
And especially if you're earning under $100,000 a year and you have the opportunity to be a realtor full time. Like if you're a realtor full time and you are putting in full time or more hours, like at least full time hours, we should be able to get you to that same level. Like
it
should be interchangeably if you're going to work the same amount of time, right?
Yeah.
So then it comes down to beliefs and mindset and conditioning and environment and the people around you. So what we really start to uncover is like, okay, you know what? You're getting a lot of messages from your immediate circle because they don't believe in you because you're not full time.
Yeah.
And so how are we going to answer those things? What kind of scripts are we going to have? And that's the kind of stuff that we're really working on. So I'd say like if anybody is listening and they're like, man, I really want the courage to quit my day job. Well, you have to pick a date, not a number, like straight up. And then you have to really understand that there is a mindset that's stopping you. You know, I have another friend that supposedly wants to quit their day job, right? Or did want to quit their day job, right? They have a day job, and then they sold over $250,000 in gross commission that year in real estate on the side as a side hustle. Wow. Okay. And they were gonna quit when they hit a certain revenue level, which was like half of that.
Yeah. Of course.
So they hit the revenue level and they're like, oh, well, like, there's another bonus coming from work. And I was like, okay. So they're like, I'm going to put it off another month. I'm like, okay. I'm going to put it off another month, okay. Then they finished the year. Now, they're exhausted and burned out. Of
course.
They had, like, if they have a workaholic problem, but, you know, they made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I looked at the end of the year, I'm like, so? And they were like, I think I'm just going to be honest that I don't have the guts to quit my day job. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Then
nothing wrong with that.
Then you don't. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, do I think that there's a financial upside to them if they quit their day job and then spend that amount of time on real estate? If they can do 250 in part-time hours,
they can double
like,
that.
Yeah,
probably,
I do.
Yeah.
But that's not for me to say. You know, they have a mindset stopping them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So mindset goes a long way.
It's it.
Okay. So what fires you up lately? What gets you out of bed? What gets you excited?
My podcast is like really, I'm having a really good time with it. Like, so I just launched a podcast a few weeks ago called Speak For Yourself. It is 100% a creative project. Okay. I don't have I'm not selling anything. I'm not like, there's no call to action. Now, I might someday, right?
Of course.
But the point right now is literally to take the things in here and put them out there. And I would say like, the feedback I'm getting from people that it's helpful is such a bucket filler for me. So it's a real connection project. It's like, hey, these are the thoughts that I have. These are the things on my mind. These are the tools that I have. I'm going to share them with you. Yeah. And then people's feedback being like, wow, I didn't know this. Like, I didn't know this about you. My dad called me. After the first 3 episodes and was like, I'll be honest. He's like, you always said like you had this dream of speaking and all this stuff. And he's like, I never understood.
Right.
Until I listened and now I get it.
Yeah.
Like I get it now, Nat. It's like I get to be seen and I feel seen. But I also feel like I'm kind of dipping my toe. So
yeah, of course.
At this point, I'm like putting in reps. I know there's more in the tank. And as time goes on, I think I'm going to make something really cool.
For sure.
But right now it's like, it's still so fun. Like when I finish, I recorded one last night. And when I finish, my bucket is full. So there's that.
Nice.
And then, my boys are in season with football right now, so that's a big focus, a lot of fun for us, and it's their grade 12 year. Yeah. So, so a lot of football games, watching as much as I can, you know, hanging out with that, and then they're planning for next year and the next steps in their lives. So that's a big part of my life. Yeah,
that's a big transition period for sure.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I was having a meeting or a sit down with a mentor of mine family friend, and he said something that I feel I really needed to hear, and it was that people don't buy from you because you have the skill set or the experience, or, you know, because like you said, anybody can do the math. Anybody can tell me what my house, any realtor, any competent realtor can tell me how much my house is worth or what I should be spending and whatever.
Agree.
Just like any planner can sell you the right amount of insurance and tell you how much you need to retire, etc. But people buy from you as a person. We talked about it earlier, the energy you put out. They want, you know, people gravitate towards you. And what I like about you being fired up about your podcast, and what I like about my podcast, and what I've heard that people like about my putting out content like this and sitting down with great people like you, is that it gets them to know me. Like, your team joins you because they believe in you and what you're doing and your story. And I think what we're doing with these podcasts and whatever, putting ourselves out there, is telling our story. And that gives us the opportunity to help more people, because we know we can help people. That much we know.
Absolutely. And, you know, like, I mean, I've never thought about it till you just said this right now, but you've been close to my business for a long time. Like, we've collaborated on things. You know my philosophies. You know like, you've heard me say everything I could say, except maybe like that story about my husband, like, planted in the audience. But, like, you know where I stand on things, but, like, I really do feel like I've been on a mission to humanize business for a long, long time. And I'm just doing that now in an industry that desperately needs it, right? And I have a realtor that just came to join our group 2 or 3 weeks ago from another group, where she was, like, highly coached, highly supervised, and the culture was just about as opposite as it could be, right? Like just about as opposite as it could be. So it was literally like, how many calls did you make? How many texts? Prove it. Show me that you texted the person. Like, just like very regimented, very disciplined, very scripted, and very much like, here's the leader's personality, and you better come across like him, because we're going to find clients who want him. And if you don't, and then you get this person that literally couldn't be more different, right? It was kind of like, you know, the real estate equivalent of me being in an accounting interview. Like,
right.
And so she's come over to work with me, and last night she had a listing appointment. And she called me yesterday afternoon, and she's like, okay, I'm going on this listing appointment, you know, and like, do I, like, and she's just like in her head, and she's like, do I say these things or whatever? What do you do in a listing appointment? Because we haven't had a lot of time together yet for me to share, like, what I do. And I said, well, like, you know, I'll show you what I do. Like, I'll bring you on one of my listing appointments, and I can come on one of yours, and, like, this is how we can do it. And I was like, but if you have a listing appointment, like, in 4 hours from right now, I'm like, here's what the most important thing you can do is. I'm like, I don't really care about, like, anything you say to them, to be honest with you. I'm like, they will not say no. Like, I don't lose listings. I don't. And if I do, it's because the person didn't want what I have. So if I lose a listing, if I go on a listing appointment and don't get it, it's usually because the person wanted something cheap. And I'm like, well, you should go find that then, because I'm never going to satisfy that, and that I'm good with that. So I said to her, I was like, you need to go in this meeting as confident and as you possibly can be. So I'm like, I don't care what you say. I actually don't care what you say. I'm like, I go in and I'm heavy marketing strategy, but that's me. That's my comfort zone. Like, I know that that's going to be my thing. I'm like, and if you don't know what yours is yet, then figure out who you are and just make sure that that comes across, right? And of course, she texted me last night. She nailed it. She got the listing, right? Her first time ever alone on a listing appointment. And I was like, I'm not going to tell you to bring in stacks of paper, and because that is all a proving energy. Proving. And I believe proving kills presence. And the magic happens in presence. The connection happens in presence. Sales is a transfer of enthusiasm. Like, it all happens when we're connected. And as soon as I start proving to you that I'm smart,
that I can do
or
this,
that I have experience, or whatever, like, I'm out. I'm done. As soon as someone comes to you with, like, proving energy, like, you're done. You don't trust them.
The trust is broken,
like,
for sure.
You just don't. So, anyway, super proud of her. But, like, to your point, 100%. It's presence. It's
presence. It's being authentic. Authenticity builds trust. You got to be competent. You got to know what you're doing.
Yes.
But, you know, there's more to it than that. One more thing I wanted to bring up. We met a couple years ago for lunch. And I believe it was pandemic times.
Yeah.
And I believe we both kind of connected on some level. We had some personal challenges. And I remember leaving that meeting, and I remember like a turnaround. And from what you've been telling me, you've had more than one turnaround. Tell me about your turnarounds, and what got you out of certain moments or periods, and what do you feel it takes to surmount something like that, a low point in someone's life?
Yeah. I don't know when along the way that like this happened, but maybe it happened. Maybe it's just how I was born. But like, I do believe that my like superpower is reinvention. And I don't believe reinvention to be a full rebrand or a pivot. I believe a reinvention is an honest homecoming.
Okay.
So when things are hard, when circumstances make it feel like how do I keep going?
Yeah,
right?
That really tough.
The answer that I have found every time is to go within. And so when I say a reinvention, what I mean is like I just become a little bit more of that little kid who ran around telling stories and being like the most hyper kid in the room in the bright pink bathing suit. Like, you know, that little girl running around just like starting to get subtle messages from society that she's too much.
Yeah.
Like, but still like having that fire. Like, so we talked about like the fire and then the spark and then the whatever, right? Like it's like, so I talked about like other environments and stuff helping ignite that fire, but really like it's me.
Yeah.
It's my job. And so when things get really, really hard, I think I could probably say that I'll notice that my flame's getting a little dull. And then the answer is to go inward and make sure that flame gets big again and give myself oxygen. So whether that is like doubling down on my personal routines, like working out, what I'm eating, meditating, spending time together, getting back to yoga, like, you know, we all know those things.
Yeah.
A lot of us operate as if they're a list of shoulds that are external to us.
Sure.
I don't believe that. I believe that there are tools that heal within us. And we need them most when they feel the hardest to access. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. It's how I feel with regular exercise for the last couple of years. I don't feel like I've had it in me lately to go and exercise to the degree that I used to. But when I go in and I reflect, I know that it's always been a big part of who I am. I'm a guy who likes control. It's been a big part of what got me to this point in my life. Yeah. It's gotten me to some successes. But it's also a blind spot of mine.
It's probably also what holds you back.
It's what holds me back.
Yeah.
But essentially, with fitness or wellness or working out, it's something I can totally control. I can control what I eat. I can control how often I go. I can control how hard I push.
Yep.
And I like that. And it's a part of. It makes me a part. It's a big part of who I am. And when I let it go, it's not just a checklist on, Mars, you're going to feel better if you go to the gym. It's, no, you're not being true to your authentic self.
That's right.
If you don't honor that for yourself.
It's also taking yourself out of the driver's seat. It's not speaking for yourself. It's like putting every other possible... So it's taking all those circumstances that are making things shitty and it's making them in charge. True. Right? Because you know that Marcel's choice is to go work out. And so what happens is you start giving up your agency. You start giving up... you think you're keeping control and you're actually giving away your power. And so all of a sudden, when you know that Marcel on his best day looks like these 5 things happen, and then those 5 things don't happen for 5 days in a row, you're not in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
And so when I say reinvention, what I mean is like, well, invention means you're creating, right?
Yeah.
And so like, you're not creating if you're just somebody's human like functioner of a to-do list. Like you're not in creativity. Your creativity could just actually be like, I scheduled my day in the way that I want it to be. And so you're away from that. You're disconnected from that. And when you let circumstances be in the driver's seat of what's going on in your life, then you can expect that your flame is going to you're going to lose it.
Yeah.
And so it's your job that if you want to get control of those circumstances and make things better, you need that burning flame to burn. You need to be in the driver's seat of the simple thing like, I'm going to read my 10 pages today.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, then how do you expect to make decisions that are big in a way that honors the truth of you?
Yeah. Yeah. Great point.
Thanks.
Thanks. Great point. Love that.
Aw,
Love that
thanks,
for everybody. Okay, just a couple more before I let you go here. What can you tell us about the real estate market here in Atlantic Canada, or Moncton specifically?
Yeah, I'll speak specifically to Moncton.
Sure.
Because real estate markets are inherently local, and I would say that when we have sometimes you can follow national or even regional headlines and they're going to make some sense, and then sometimes they can really, really mislead you, right?
Yeah.
And so I'll say the last couple of years, if you looked at national headlines, it would tell you that home prices in Canada are declining, and we're in a buyer's market. And that was just not true in our city. It was the complete opposite. And so I want to give that caveat, because sometimes a lot of people come to me and say, I read this in the whatever. And I'm like,
the Globe and Mail.
Yeah. High five. I just want you to understand that there's so many homes in Toronto and Vancouver that those two markets take over the national headline.
Yeah.
So if you look at a national news about real estate, that takes over. I'd say here, Halifax is going to have a major skew away from what's happening in New Brunswick. And so, here in Greater Moncton, a couple things are going on. So as of right now, it is September, and our last stats that we have are in August. But as of August, we were in a balanced market.
Okay.
And that means it's not a seller's market. It's not a buyer's market. And so it's in between. It means that it would take between 4 and 8 months to sell every piece of inventory on our market.
Okay.
At the current pace of sales.
At the current demand, yeah.
And specifically in August, that would have been five months.
Okay.
So it's taking longer to sell homes, but our average price is still climbing.
Okay.
So we haven't gotten to a place yet where, even though it's taking longer and we have more inventory on the market and it's harder for sellers, we haven't reached a point where home prices are declining.
Yeah.
And then rates just dropped this week. So, we'll see what that does, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I would say that I'm obviously just just throwing my opinion on the wall, but I think there's just so much uncertainty globally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
People are moving slow.
They're not cutting rates for nothing.
Yeah.
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 For sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, good. Now, last question. It's the first time I asked somebody this on the podcast, but I feel like it's a great question to ask. What's the best piece of financial advice you've ever received?
Oh, man. Okay, well, the best. So I want you to think if the average adult is 7 on the financial knowledge scale of 0 to 10, I want you to treat me like I'm a 3-year-old. And it's not actually because I don't have knowledge or I'm not super smart at that stuff. It's because I have very strange money baggage and belief, right?
Yeah, everybody does.
I act like a child, and I outsource what to do with money to anybody else, right? Yeah. So I'm working on trusting myself as being good at money.
Yeah.
I don't actually think I don't think rationally that I'm bad at money.
Yeah.
I think I have a core belief that I'm bad at money.
Oh, yeah.
Student loans and things like that back in the day that just really solidified some confidence issues around money.
You're wired to be
less than
you're
just
ideal.
Born bad at money, which I know that I'm not, right?
Yeah.
I know that I'm not, and I am, and I know that I can generate more revenue tomorrow. All of those things I know.
Is there, yeah.
But I have this, what I'm working on right now in my healing is this core underlying belief that I'm going to do some crazy thing tomorrow and just wake up and whoops, I lost $100,000. I exist that way, and it's so bizarre. So anyway, I'm giving you this context.
Yep.
There is a book called You Are Badass at Money.
Okay.
By Jen Sincero, written for people like me.
Okay.
Okay. So it's mindset, and it is funny. It is I just can't stand money books. I find them condescending a lot of the times, or dry. It is. I've read that book like 4 or 5 times. I've recommended it to so many people. It is unbelievably good. So You Are a Badass at Money by Jen Sincero is the book I would give you to start your journey of money. And I read that book. Okay, this is crazy. I also don't like talking about this, but I read that book, and the next year I 6x'd my income.
Wow. It's crazy how we actually have a relationship to money. Like, that cannot be that needs to be amplified and screamed from
100%. We do.
Towers. Like, we have a relationship with money. So, to ignore the fact that money is more than just a number on a page I don't think it does anybody a service.
I love thinking about money as energy.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's money is energy. I love thinking about it that way. But our relationship to money is absolutely true. And so the stories I tell myself about myself with money, they're bad. Like, I have so I had this experience in university, back to like so many university stories here. So I went into university as this like bright student with all these high 90s. And I actually had, I got an external scholarship that was a full ride.
Okay. Wow.
And university should have been free. And I was so excited to take out a student loan and party.
Yeah.
And so I took out a student loan anyway. I went to New York City. I saw Prince in concert. I mean, like, I had the best time, right? I was like, there was no parents. I could go to the bar. Like, I went to Halifax every weekend. I mean, like, I lived it up, right?
Yeah,
this
of course.
Freedom I had. And while I was living it up, what I was doing was not going to school. And so that full ride was gone.
Oh, it was taken
after
away.
First year. Yeah, I lost it. Yeah.
Shit.
So I had to have a student loan and use it to pay for school. So no more trips.
Different frame. Different angle.
You know what I mean? And then I got my first visa too. So so then I come into university, right? Like, with this huge student loan, I go to Toronto. I go live in Toronto, where like, thank God, bought a house early at least, and whatever. So that was good. But like, I come out with this big student loan, and I lost my scholarship, and like, that was it. Like, the story was told. Like, and I have been trying to undo that for like decades.
Like, the narrative that you lost it / screwed it up.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. It was my own behavior. Like, I got it right, but I am not over it.
Yeah. No.
And the interesting thing that I navigate on to this day is like, so I do believe if I had to double my income, I could do it. Like, for sure.
I
can figure that
totally
out. No problem. I feel that way. You probably feel that way. Like, that's an entrepreneurial, a level you hit. So I'm fairly confident that I could do that. But I'm not confident that I wouldn't just blow it.
Yeah.
And so then it's like, now, Marcel, have I gone out and blown money again since then? Like, not even really. Like, I'm pretty conservative with spending money. Like, I'm pretty frugal. But it doesn't matter. I have this core fear that this like 18-year-old version of me like is gonna go wild for freedom and do something stupid, right? And so that's what I continue to work on. 10 out of 10 don't believe I'm alone. And so that is the book for those people like me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I love that. Thanks for sharing. I mean, this is awesome. So we'll end it there. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.
This was fantastic. And I look forward to watching your podcast.
Awesome.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Sweet.
Yeah, that was good.
What did you think of that?